In the far future, faster-than-light travel is possible via portals called Stiffworks. Human and alien civilizations travel this way for millennia. Trade, war, and technology proliferate. Countless societies rise, thrive, fall, and vanish. Eventually, almost everyone forgets the secrets of the Stiffworks. Almost. 300 years ago, the worshipful company of Stillfleeters is formed on Spindle, a space station of unknown origin. They send fleeters into the void using Stiffworks in search of profit. It is 100 million years in the future. Welcome to Float City.
Previously on Float City, the crew is sent to Narcosa to stop the random generation of extra-dimensional fold gates. In the dispatch of their duties, they stabilize a portal to Kakudun, where they are led to believe the company archivist holding up a trade agreement with the Saffron Anax is located. After an emotional goodbye with their gnomish pals, the crew hops through the Escheresk and lands on a peaceful beach in the northwest of Kakudun, where they meet the Big Drink Wranglers, a prawnish Waitan subgroup that subsists on a thick red algae called red plant, harvested from the sea floor. One Wrangler gifts the team a derelict conveyance known as the Ambler, which Mercus spends several days repairing while his team sees the sights. The crew is told their most likely destination is No Laster, a port city with a company embassy in a swamp region called the Jash, about 8 to 10 hours drive southeast. But the crew soon realizes their journey across the Kakudunai interior will be no Sunday drive. With guarded borders, highly regulated import-export of items, including red plant, and raiders. We join the team now, having just dispatched a group of roadside aggressors, charting a course more east than south. Okay, yeah, so you hit the road.
Yes.
You come to the forkish arrangement that you turned down to get to the Bone Snatch, and this time you go, I believe it would be left, correct? And you go into the region that is next to the Bone Snatch. On the map, you can see that this is labeled Zenthra. The Bone Snatch itself was pretty barren. It was pretty dry. It was kind of deserty almost. And as you turn left and you go into Zenthra, the trees that were behind you in Malnog start to disappear. They become less dense. You begin to see like shorter rolling hills, and you actually begin to see houses, more houses than you've seen in the previous regions, and they're very big. They're in the distance. They're like they look like these estates, and a lot of the land on these nice rolling hills and in front of these estates kind of looks like it is like landscapes, like it's professionally maintained. And the roads transition from this loose dirt to a kind of loose stone. And as you go through this landscape, you start to see in the distance a kind of translucent wall that's iridescent. It's got this kind of green-purple sheen to it that you can see through. As you get closer, you can tell that it's made of these little hexes. It's a little blurry on the other side. It's more of the same like manicured landscape, but in the road, there is a small guardhouse made of white stone that is set directly in front of this translucent wall. And as you get closer, someone comes out of it. There's a guard in a very nice like gray suit with very wide shoulders and a very boxy jacket. And he's got a clank rifle slung around his torso. He's wearing like a tall pillbox hat. And he just stands as you approach, and there is no opening in the translucent border. So it seems like you have to stop and talk to this person. Do you guys do anything before you get there, or do you just approach?
Yeah, Remy's still asleep in the front seat. I think he's just chilling. He's not gonna wake up unless there's like something happening.
What time of day is it?
I think it's like probably late morning, early afternoon.
All right.
It's bright out.
Yeah. Okay. So Mercus pulls up to the guardhouse, slows down and is squinting because direct sunlight is Very harmful to the sensitive lizard. Good day, sir. We're on official business with the company.
He bends down and he gives you a big smile. He's an older guy. He's got like really sort of like tan, leathery skin. Like, you know, he spends all day in the sun out here at the guardhouse. And yeah, he grins at you. He says, "Oh, company people. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. What kind of business are you conducting?"
Well, we've crash landed here, and we are on our way to the embassy in Nolester.
Let me guess. And he sticks his head kind of further inside the ambalier, and he looks at the readout. He says, "Navigation system brought you through the Bone Snatch."
That was a mistake.
Yeah, it happens a lot. Did you run into any trouble?
No.
Beta's looking at Mercus.
Beta
going,
is nodding
"No."
while Mercus is shaking her head. Yeah, a bunch of raiders set up there a couple weeks ago, been causing a lot of trouble for people trying to pass through. But yeah, I mean, not a lot we can do about it. They're just not really worth trying to fight them. We just try to avoid them. So yeah, I understand. It's a good thing you got out of there with your lives, as it were.
Nice drawbridge over there.
That's one way to put it. It's true. It's true. So you, he looks in and he looks at everyone.
Mercus gives a big smile.
He says, "So you kids aren't here for the quartering."
Sorry? Sir, I don't know what that is.
Oh, we've been getting a lot of traffic for today. You know, it's a big day here. We have a festival. It's just yeah, most everybody who's coming through today is here for that. You don't know about this?
Beta sticks her head out the window and says, "A festival? What kind of festivities?"
Well, it's something we're very famous here on Kakadun for. In Zenthra, we have, I think what you would call it is maybe an oracle. We call it the Zaner. She foretells of your romantic future.
Uh-oh.
Beta starts like trembling in her hand, and she lifts her hand up and she said, "What did you say?"
Yeah, you come here with your partner or partners, or by yourself, possible. Though you know it's a little bit different, and you know it tells you what some of your futures might be like. A lot of people think it's hokum, and you know I used to too when I was a kid. But you know I've seen a lot of people come through, and it makes a big difference to a lot of them. They come all the way from Haptik, they come all the way from Amjay, they even come from Mossback, like all around on the day that it's open to the public, which is today. So yeah, if you're just passing through, there might be a little bit of traffic. You might get stuck a little bit, but yeah, as long as you promise not to cause any trouble, I'll let you through.
No, sir, no trouble. We'd just like to go home.
Enjoy your stay if you do decide to check it out. It's a lot of fun. They make you do, you got to like pass a couple tests, but people seem to like them. They seem to find them meaningful. It's like a nice little bit of local culture, but you all, and he like gets serious for a second, and he's gonna roll reason. You kids have a good time in town. And he looks directly at Beta, who he can tell is very excited, and he says, "I think you're gonna like it."
Mercus just a tiny salute. Thank you.
And he goes into the little white stone hut, and after a second, part of the wall that's dividing this part of Zenthra from, wherever it is you're headed, kind of just like disappears. It just sort of like vaporizes for a second, and it's very easy for you to drive through.
Beta turns to the group and says, "Okay, was it just me or was that guy totally into me?"
Remy wakes up at this.
Mercus pushes forward because they're still within earshot.
He's standing in the middle of the road and finally gives a little salute back to Mercus.
Oh, boy.
Well, this sounds
so
like a smashing time. I suppose we should stop and get our fortunes told or whatnot. I would like to say, Beta, don't get your hopes up. Many of these people are nothing more than common charlatans.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fortune tellers cross my path, and not one has been right about 10% of anything. No thanks.
Yeah, I suppose we can avoid the traffic by participating. And Mercus is just looking at the navigation.
Oh, you should go. If you want to go, you should go. I don't mind waiting.
I won't take it too seriously, but I will.
Oh, no, it's fun. It's a fun.
like any psychic, don't go make big life decisions immediately afterwards, but like it's a useful thing to think with, right?
Yes.
So as you continue down the road through these manicured fields, you see more of these like wild yet obviously cultivated flower beds. It's wild, and it's, you know, not like, we're not talking like Versailles here. It's like half manicured and actually is very pretty. After a couple minutes, you enter finally into the first actual town with a center that you've seen, I think, since you left the sea village, the seaside village with the big drink wranglers. It's small. You can see at the end of Main Street, once you get to it, the other side of Main Street very easily. It doesn't even reach to the horizon. It's just a few buildings. There's a small apothecary, a little diner or restaurant. There's a general store that seems also to be a bank. And then there are also 3 company outposts. There is a Worshipful Company of Stillfleeters outpost. There is an Oucher outpost, and there is an Orthrax outpost. So you can do all kinds of shopping and trading. As the gentleman at the guard tower explained, there are also a bunch of carts, wagons, buggies stopped in the middle of the street, a long line down the road, and also just parked on the opposite side of the town. All of these buildings are in one line facing off in one direction. On the other side, there's a bunch of things that are parked off the side of the road. And if you look behind the row of buildings, to the plain behind them, there's also a bunch of vehicles that are parked behind them. And further off in the distance, there's a mountain range. This would appear to be a pretty popular destination today. There are definitely more people here than the number of buildings around would indicate there should be. And in the distance, at the end of the line of traffic, there's a large group of people. They're all facing in one direction. And it seems like there's a stage with a lectern on it.
Yeah, Mercus finds a parking spot right before they head into town.
Do you all pile out? Does everybody go with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beta takes a bite of the dick leaf, so she gets a mustache.
Oh, the rocks.
The rocks. Oh, that's the rocks. Yeah, she wants to look her best for.
Mercus is still sporting a mustache also.
Yeah, she sees this and she's already been jealous of Mercus because Mercus is basically living her dream. So she's like, okay, well, Mercus is going to show up all looking good. Was Mercus going to get another girlfriend? I got to do something.
Yeah, your face gets itchy, and some of the mustache that you maybe lost in the battle with the raiders grows back, and it sort of pops back in. And, you've had it now about a day, and you've gotten a little bit more comfortable with it. And I think it's fair to say that the mustache is no longer wearing you. Give yourself a 2. A bonus of 2 for the next 24 hours.
Yes.
To what is it?
Oh, to charm.
Charm.
That's huge.
That's huge. Yeah, what is it 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys walk from where you parked at the end of town to the other side where the crowd is. You pass by the apothecary, which is this nice, mostly empty white stone building. It actually looks a lot it's a big version of the guard tower that you saw. You pass by the restaurant, which is just the word lunch. Written in very large letters on a tall, skinny black building that's just next to the apothecary. And inside it, kind of looks like your standard tavern or canteen. It's mostly dark. There are a bunch of people in there hooting and hollering and having a good time. You pass by the general store / bank. You pass by that and you get to company shipping and receiving. So this is the Worshipful Company of Stillfleeters outpost. This is a squat, dark, rectangular building covered in vines. There's just weird cylinders of metal and what looks like cardboard piled outside of it. They're these 5 or 6 foot tall cylinders with metal caps on them. And if you look inside, you can see all of these metal shelves just full of archaea tech and bits and bobs and pieces of technology and things coming and going. There's a female Harajun just hanging out in there behind the counter. Next is the Orthrax outlet, which kind of looks like a place that just sells old random things. And they're all just kind of almost like a bad antique store maybe, and it's just all strewn out. It looks like this building has vomited antiques onto the street and the sidewalk in front of it. And then past that is the Oucher outpost, which kind of looks like a greenhouse. It's like a clearish dome, a long, skinny building. When you look inside, there's just all of these tables that have what looks like mostly food on it.
I think Mercus wants to go to the company outpost because he's thrown his third boot and lost all the bolas, so like no weapons whatsoever.
Sure, yeah. You can head to the company outpost.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like a old mechanics or radio shop. It's very dark. The shelves are just full of stuff, pieces of equipment that's very mysterious. A lot of it doesn't make any sense to you. But yeah, there is an older, kind of like gray furred Harajun woman in a blue flight suit that's hanging out behind a counter that's just piled with stuff. She kind of like peeks out from behind a gap in the things.
Hello, looking to buy anything? Oh, the Harajun talk like that.
Oh, hello, ma'am. I was looking for some shoes or needing to stock up on our way to Novalaster.
Hold on, I'm just letting my built-in device translate that for me. Yo, things to cover those things down there? Your ground touchers?
He is wearing shoes. It's just he uses them in other ways.
Oh, right. Well, I don't know if you want to put them over those or if you want to take those off and put these on, but I think I have just the thing you're looking for. Now, who's that short drink of water behind you? Hello!
This is the best possible thing.
Holy shit! Oh my god!
I'm sorry, I can't really hang out. I gotta help my friend go do a ritual. Oh, you're gonna go do the ritual with your friends? It's interesting that out-of-towners don't usually do that. Oh, really? Well, people have been pretty supportive so far to the idea. Well, I'm not supportive of it. I just think it's interesting. I'm glad you're here. Oh, we're very glad we ran across this place. The trip here was not fun.
This is gonna this should be a spin-off show.
Yeah.
All right.
Introduce other Harajans.
Yeah.
Let's get you inside so you can look at these shoes. That was Oat. And then the woman in the jumpsuit is like, yeah, that's a great idea. Come on inside. Let's look at these shoes.
This broke me. Oh my god.
She holds up what looks like a very large 1980s sneaker that's
In a box. She opens the box and says, this is what I meant by inside. Inside the box that I'm holding.
Mercus's eyes are twinkling.
Look at this. If you squeeze this part, it makes a little squeaking sound.
I think I've read about these.
Oh, you have?
Maybe.
Well, it can be all yours.
I'll take it.
Ah, but for what? Now there's the rub, as they say. What would you like to trade in return?
Trade.
So the company, since this is a company outpost, they would take Gilder. I think this would cost 100 Gilder.
I'll take it. And just starts rummaging through the pockets for various...
Finally, a vacation from the permanent haggle that has become my life in retail.
Mercus is not a haggler.
And neither am I. Currently, here.
You have a single brand new sneaker boot shoe. It is mostly light gray, but it has fluorescent pink and green accents on the side of it and small wings embroidered on it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Roll reason.
Oh, no. Got a 2.
What a nice shoe.
Yeah, it's quite a nice shoe. And he fits it on the end of his tail and just like
Feels great.
waves it around. It's like, oh, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, really fits.
I wish it matched what I was wearing already, but I'll take it.
I think you look great. That's money well spent.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. By the way, has any other company people stopped by recently?
Well, actually, no. I mean, we've rarely seen you, and especially nowadays with the difficulties, the company, I think, is trying to stay away, I think. We're supposed to take sort of a neutral stance. I'm honestly surprised you're here.
Difficulties? We were not briefed on any difficulties.
Oh, yeah. This place is a powder keg.
Oh, do you have any advice for someone who doesn't know what's going on and how not to offend anyone here in this town?
Try to stay on the well-marked roads. Be careful at border crossings. Don't lie to the border guards. Keep your head down. Don't carry obvious weapons. Yeah, I think all the hot action is down in the southeast. So if you're not going to go there, you're probably not going to see anything, happen.
Well, we're not looking for anything to happen. Oh, okay. Thank you for the help and advice.
Oh, my pleasure.
Hey friends, it's Shannon, aka Beta Combat on the podcast. Has this ever happened to you? You're sitting in your room listening to this podcast, Float City, and you're thinking, wow, I love this podcast, but I wish there was more. Well, friends, guess what? There is more. There's so much more over on our Patreon. I know what you're thinking. What is Patreon? Well, Patreon, what is Patreon? I'm not going to explain what Patreon is, but by signing up for our Patreon, you get access to so many extra bonus things related to our show. What are those bonus things? Well, you get access to character sheets. You get cut tape. We have a whole nother podcast where we talk about this show that you're listening to right now, as well as the state of the world and lots of other things. You get access to live streams. We have a Discord where we're all chatting and talking about stuff. Doesn't this sound great? Yes, of course it does. So go on over to patreon.com/Fun City Ventures and support the show, won't you? And get access to that extra goodies stuff. That's patreon.com/Fun City Ventures. Goodbye.
You guys leave the company outpost, and do you want to head to the crowd of people?
Mercus is strutting, now with a mustache and a new sneaker.
You look fresh as hell. What is that word? What is it? Flaneuring your way down Main Street, Zenthra.
Beta's like trying to catch up with Mercus and walk at a slightly faster speed because her jealousy towards Mercus is showing.
I think Remy is just like admiring the shoe.
Yeah, Mercus
good
doesn't
shoe.
notice. He's just very stoked about the sneaker.
Really, everything's coming up Mercus.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
So as you walk down the last part of Main Street, you get closer to the group of people, the large group of people, and you can see that they're standing, not like in an arrangement, but in groups. And it's very clear that this is like one person and a group of their friends, or a group of family members, or two people and like each of like a group of people for each of them, three people and like a number of people for each of them. That there are these distinct little kind of pods and groupings, and it seems like there's couples or sets of partners or individuals who have shown up with like a crew, and everybody's pointing, everybody's looking in one direction at this kind of rickety looking stage almost, with some stairs on the side and a little lectern at the front. And just as you get there, a skinny, tall figure with long white beard and a long white hair, holding a long cane, comes out. And he's wearing this pearlescent white dress thing with like a gold braided belt around the torso. Sort of hobbles up the stairs, makes his way slowly towards the lectern, and everybody who was talking to one another kind of hushes. And then from behind the building that he came out, where he came out, someone else comes out, and it's a tall, manted woman wearing this drapey blue kind of suit thing that's very expertly tailored to her many arms and her like tall, long insect form. And she confidently and very quickly steps towards the edge of the deck. And as he approaches the lectern, he looks out at everyone and he takes a second, waits for everybody to calm down and stop talking and pay attention. And then he raises his cane a little bit and he says, "Seekers of the heart." And everybody applauds.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
We welcome you to our small yet gifted hamlet for this, the 528th observance of the quartering. I am the Sentinel Alabaster Jaj of the Amphiktonites, your overseer for this quartering, my 27th. I see some new faces in the crowd, so I'm going to explain the proceedings briefly, though they are rather simple and short. Please be aware that these small trials that you will undergo for the next few hours will be nothing compared to the knowledge that you can gain about yourself over the next several days. Those present with a partner or partners will see glimpses of their many, many potential futures together. The unescorted will be availed of various eventualities concerning partnership, though, be forewarned, the mysteries of solitude cause Zaner to deliver often very opaque imagery after the quartering is concluded.
Beta nudges Marcus and says, "That's us."
It is?
Each participant must complete 2 trials to demonstrate their fitness for audience with Zaner. The first is the trial of testimonies. Verasir Cerulean, and he gestures at the manted woman who is standing at the edge of the deck, will hear testimonies from each participant's clan of no fewer than 3 and no more than 6 as to their character. Trial of testimonies is as much a judge of the participant's character as it is their ability to keep good, honest company. Please remember, if the Verasir does not advance your cause past the trial of testimonies, it is not a reflection of your worth as a person, only an indication of your need for growth ahead of the Zaner's deep, penetrating stare. We look forward in that eventuality to seeing you at the next quartering. The second is the trial of basis. Each participant will be asked to simply construct the foundation of a single dwelling to their own specification and using provided materials. Their construction will be assessed by myself and the Verasir. And he again gestures to the manted woman in blue.
Mercus nudges Beta. Wait, does that mean your diorama experience is going to help you here?
Oh, I hope so.
The participants who pass both trials will be led in turn to visit Zaner. From there, we cannot say what occurs, as the experience is unique for each of us. The Verasir will now collect your names and will find each participant and their clan in town when it is their time. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. He stamps his cane on the ground and he raises it again, and everybody applauds. And everyone have a most meaningful quartering. And he bows a little bit and starts hobbling back towards the stairs to go down. And sure enough, the Verasir, this manted woman, is walking very quickly between groups of people. And she's looks like she's got a small kind of like gadget in her hand, and she's writing down names, writing down something, presumably names.
Oh, Beta, you really want to do this?
Please. I've had no leads. Sure, Alger, I love him, but he's given me nothing for like 6 years.
Do you really believe in this stuff?
I mean, yes.
Okay.
As a scientist, yes.
Yes.
The manted woman is talking to the group of people next to you. It is a provincial woman and a provincial man. They're surrounded by a group of 12 people. The Verasir taking each of their names, and she asks them where they will be found in town when it is their time. She says that she explains some of the proceedings to them. They talk back and forth a little bit, and then she comes over to you. She looks at Mercus and Beta and says, she's talking through her Babel box. So, she speaks manted whistle, and you hear a kind of mechanical human voice come out of this box that's attached to one of her arms.
Oh, no, ma'am. I'm spoken for. Solo.
And she's looking at the rest of you.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say solo. I mean, I
I
said
certainly
the
wouldn't.
wrong thing. I can see. By the way, Combot has slowly turned and looked at me. I apologize. Goodbye. And Oat walks 30 yards away and stands with his back to the activity.
What is the name of the participant in the quartering?
Beta.
How many kinsmen have you brought with you for the trial of testimonies?
4. Is everyone in? 4.
Where in town will you be?
Is everybody hungry?
Yes, I could go for a spot.
Yes, yeah. I could always eat.
Then we shall meet you at the diner.
Okay. She types a little thing into the box. Okay. Yeah. You guys go to lunch.
Pretty
What?
much, yeah.
So you all walk back across town. It looks like a cross between a very old school English tavern. So the ceilings on the bottom floor are low, and there's just like a lot of stuff around. Some of the walls are of wood construction and some are stone construction. There's a big fireplace in the back. There are a bunch of rugs just thrown around, but it also kind of has like an Old West vibe to it too. Like the bar is very long, and there are a lot of stools in front of it. You walk through those. What are they called?
Saloon
The
doors.
saloon doors.
saloon-
The
doors.
saloon doors. You walk through some saloon doors. You know, there's an old upright piano on one side. There's a bunch of sawdust on the floor. There's a lot of people inside having various drinks, eating lunch, hanging out. So you guys can, do whatever you want.
Remy sidles up to the bar and asks for a menu.
Yeah, Mercus sits next to him.
Well, we don't have menus.
Fuck. I knew it.
Good.
The way it works is you tell us what you're in the mood for, and we try to get as close as we can.
Well, I would love some raw meat and also the strongest drink you have.
Well, that's easy as hell. He bends down. There's like a really thick wooden box with a rope handle on the top lid. Lifts it up. It creaks. He reaches down in there. You hear some things knocking around, and he comes up with a big wedge of what is clearly like butchered animal flesh. And he also takes a completely spherical pod that's sort of covered in like a brown hair, like a little coconut, and puts it next to it. But he pushes it down the bar hard enough to where the bottom flattens out so it doesn't roll everywhere. And then he hands you a metal straw and he says, all right, we're on a pay what you can sliding scale.
This is the best bar I've ever been to.
I know, I'm killing it. So nothing then? The sliding scale is all the way to the left for you.
Oh, you actually wanted money. Oh, I see. I thought you were. I couldn't tell if you were fucking with me. I gotta give you some
It's a
Gilder.
company town, so they'll take Gilder.
Yeah, I'll give you. How much do you think this is worth?
Well, I'm not allowed to say. You got to tell me.
All right. Well, look. How about this? I won't pay anything for the food, but I will give you a tip.
That'll do.
Thought it might. He pays him, I guess, 15 Gilder. I don't know.
Wow!
I don't know how much things
15
cost.
Gilder. I
just for
quit.
you.
And he takes the 50 Gilder and walks out. No, I'm just kidding. That's just a joke I play on people that are passing through
Oh,
town.
that's your joke. Okay.
15 Gilder is an appropriate tip amount.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I think that's true. I think
I
that's true.
can't quit.
Are you not allowed to?
I could.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, I feel like it seems pretty easy to quit.
No, I got a good life here. I like working at the bar.
You mind if I gunch up here?
You might want to do that in one of the bathrooms.
Yeah, okay, just checking. Thanks,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
That's not me judging you. That's just,
No, it's practicality. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna eat this and drink this. So keep it warm. I don't. Whatever you do, just don't make it weird.
I'll make sure no one messes with your food, sir.
Thank you. And Remy goes to the bathroom and gunches up.
Venus leans in and says, I would also like to order, good sir. Do you have anything with the piquant but succulent taste of the berry of Ayuskunwa?
I'm not familiar with the berry, but I think I can do succulent and piquant.
Well, that will have to do, yes.
Now, is piquant the same thing as picayune?
Yes.
Perfect. I got exactly the thing.
Please tell me what it is. I have to know.
All right, he goes into the back for a second, and then he comes back out, and he opens up a gigantic glass jar. It's like one of those like high school football stadium pickle jars where the footballs are as big as burritos. You know the jars I'm talking about?
I do.
By the way, quick aside, had a friend one time take a Greyhound bus ride from Birmingham, Alabama to Washington, D.C. She sits on the seat, and in the seat next to her sits down this woman who is wearing a backpack. She takes off the backpack, puts the backpack in between her legs. As soon as the bus takes off from the station in Birmingham, she opens her backpack to reveal that there is only one thing in the backpack. Can you guess what it is?
A single large cucumber?
A gigantic jar of circus gauge pickles.
Oh my god. Circus gauge of medical
opens-
pickles.
She's about to have the ride of her life.
I'm happy for her.
This is not what you want on a bus, though, Jean.
No,
Not
for
next
like
to you.
20 hours.
No.
Did she eat them or did she just...
She ate every pickle.
God damn it.
Okay. Okay, I take it back. I don't like that now.
I love it.
All right,
God.
so
I mean, I'm impressed.
he opens the jar, reaches in and takes one of these like a kind of a burrito shaped and looking thing, and he brings it out, puts it on the counter, and unwraps it. So you see that the outer layer was just sort of an inedible plant matter. Inside, however, is a bunch of sort of like not slimy but congealed small black orbs, and then the smell hits you, and it's not bad.
Vinos,
Have you ever had these before?
I don't know if I have. Let me give this a try. Vinos takes a bite.
Hold on. I don't know your physiology. Can you process glutamates?
I believe I can.
Well, buddy, I
and
got great news for you. First bite's on the house.
Vinos takes his first bite. His eyes get real big, and he goes, "Quite good." And he slaps down 20 guilder for the blackberry type tamale.
Yeah, we got plenty more where that came from. Not many folks around here like them, so, eat your fill.
I like everything. I'm used to having all my food grown in a lab.
Vinos, citizen of the world.
Yes.
Remy walks back from the bathroom at this time, watches Vinos eat, and he's very loose. He's feeling loose.
Thank God.
Gunched up, isn't he?
Doing good. Feeling good? Is that good?
This is quite good. You should try it.
Yeah, I don't think I have some meat here. I got to eat that first.
Okay.
But
And
maybe-
I can't process glutamate, so I think that is a no-go for oat.
So as you all are sitting eating your snacks, and Remy, you tuck into your uncooked meat and strongest drink in the house, probably like 20, 25 minutes pass, and eventually, you see in that time the Veraseer come in and like grab other people and leave, and come and grab other people and leave. And probably like the third or fourth time she comes in, she walks over directly to your table and she holds up her little gadget and says,
Beta and Kim, follow me.
Beta drops a glass. She wasn't holding one, but she picks up one from the bar and drops the glass.
a little robot comes out of the wall and cleans it up, because it's the future and you have to have something like that at some point, right?
I love that little guy.
If you follow the Veraseer, she will take you behind the row of buildings that make up Main Street into the plain a little bit. You can actually see where you're headed from a little bit far off. It kind of looks like a gazebo, like a little hut kind of thing, like a cross between a small chalet that's been chopped in half and something that looks like it should be dropped in the middle of a park somewhere, covered in a lot of very pretty flowers and these kind of scary, spiny, dried vines. And when you get right in front of it, you start to smell tea and snacks. And it looks like there's food and some drink here if you want it, if anybody is still hungry. And the Veraseer takes a seat on one side of this small table that's in the middle of this weird gazebo thing. And she kind of like takes up that whole, like really just spreads out and like makes it clear that like that's her side. And she gestures at the other side. And sure enough, there are enough seats for all of you. And do you all sit down? Okay. When you all sit, the Veriseer looks at all of you for a second and checks some of her notes and looks up and she says,
During the trial,
and this is in manted whistle, so you hear this like clicking whistling sound and then a robotic human voice coming from a box on her arm.
during the trial of testimonies, we ask that the participant not speak. Is this understood, Beta?
And she just stares and nods up and down.
Is this everyone's first quartering?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yup.
Are you familiar with the trials?
As it was explained earlier by the overseer, yes.
As Veriseer, it is my job to judge the truth of statements. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
How do each of you feel about participant Beta?
Pretty good. You see the mustache? I like that.
You won't find a truer heart on this planet.
It's true. She has been a vital part of our crew.
We've actually never hung out one-on-one.
Being honest.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. I have. I can vouch for her. She's a delight.
She is the first to ask if anyone is hurt during battle.
Kind of her job. Let's be honest. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're good.
Do you need more? Is that
Should I say more than one thing? I thought I said it all in one sentence, but I could go on.
She looks at her gadget and she looks up at Venus and she says, and then she looks at Beta. She looks at Venus again and she says,
I think that would be good.
more, I guess?
Well, Beta is a true romantic. She pines for.
she gets a very, she like, you can tell her eyes like sort of like perk up and she, is interested in whatever you're about to say.
In all the years I've enjoyed, which is many more than those that I have lived, I have never met someone who is so keen and ready to be with one that she loves most, that she can look into the eyes of and understand and hold and love.
Mercus fawns at this. Oh, Venus! She has studied many stories of ancient civilizations past, of their mating rituals, courting rituals, and, I guess what they're called are dates?
Doc, she really wants it. I want this for her.
Oh, you know what? Here's one thing. She gives everybody a shot. She never assumes that you suck or something. She always wants to know about you and is always willing to start off on the right foot. That's a good quality.
That is a good quality.
And she also always asks people, if she were allowed to speak right now, she would ask you, what is the oldest thing you remember?
Sure, she's always asking me that. But it's only because I was frozen for a while.
She also could speak with the people inside their brains, which could make them go crazy. But a dangerous trait that would need to be stamped out at once in the hands of someone who was lesser, who had less noble of a heart.
Taps into her machine when you say this.
Mercus is looking around like, what are we supposed to do?
Are you waiting on us to say like one bad thing to prove
Is
that
it
we're
a
being
bad
honest?
thing that we need to say? I can't think of anything bad to say about Beta, and so you'll have to wait there a long time.
Doc, I do have one question for you. Can I gunch up in here?
She taps into her machine.
Beta glares at Remy.
I was a joke. I'm joking. Holy shit. I thought, you weren't saying anything. No one was saying things. It was getting weird. Man, can't.
This lady cannot get a read on you.
Oh, ma'am, if I may say, we are employed together as a crew, but I will say that over the last time that I spent with Beta, we are now a lot like a family.
Hey, family's Okay, yeah.
You are co-workers.
Yes, that's true.
Do you know participant Beta's family?
Never met.
We do not.
No, family's not a. I mean, that's you're making a lot of assumptions there.
Yeah, she taps into her machine a couple more times, and she lets a few more seconds pass. If no one says anything else, then she'll say,
The trial is concluded as soon as you deem it so.
Okay.
There are no other testimonials for participant Beta. You may be on your way, and we will locate you and let you know if she has passed this trial.
Thank you very
Many thanks.
much. Beta, don't say anything.
That went great.
We walk out of the gazebo thing.
yeah, you walk back the couple dozen meters or whatever to get back to the main road.
Beta, did we do a good job?
You
I
guys,
don't know.
you all did a great job. I was touched. It was a beautiful testimony. I don't know what else they could want to know about me. They asked a lot about my family. I don't really quite remember.
You don't remember your family?
I was born so long ago.
Yes, I suppose it was a while ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
What should we do?
I could always eat.
Are they going to look for us back in the diner again, or?
We should probably find a place to sleep, though, at some point, right?
Should we check out those other outposts? I heard them mention companies that might be of interest to us.
I say let's do it.
Yeah, you head in that direction, and you walk towards the greenhouse thing. And as you're walking, you can see the Veraseer approaching various people, and she's talking to them, and some of them she talks to, and they look very sad, and then they walk back towards a buggy and get in it and drive off. Some of them, they perk up a little bit and seem to be very happy. And you sort of see this happen in the town square, that some people are being cut loose, and some people have been told that they passed the trial. If you walk into the Oucher greenhouse, it kind of looks like, it's weird to say this, like a super future farm stand, Whole Foods. You see some thick leaves. There's a couple here. There's like a thing that kind of looks like a cross between a tomato and a pineapple. There is this like strange kind of kohlrabi, but if the stalks were kind of like limp and jangly as opposed to like more like celery, if that makes sense.
Mercus wanders to the front and is just kind of like, oh, hello. Is there somebody like at the counter or something?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Is there?
Yeah. Hey.
We're new to this area. What is the specialty of this shop?
We mostly specialize in ethically grown vegetables. There's also some handmade gifts in the back. You might have heard that we're not like Orthrax. We don't do the indentured servitude. That's kind of like our thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if it's ethically sourced, why would you have indentured servitude?
That's what I'm saying all the time.
Oh, interesting. We're not really familiar with the other company. Like, we shouldn't go over there?
Well, I mean, you do whatever you want. I'm not going to stop you, but, they're not great.
Got it. Thank you. What's your favorite item in here?
Oh, I'm a big fan of the jangles. And he points at the weird kohlrabi thing.
The jangles? I'll take one.
That's 5 guilder.
Okay. Mercus pays the 5 guilder.
You have like a weird like octopus-like green vegetable. After you purchase this, the Veraseer is walking by this shop, and she looks in and she walks by the door and then turns around and comes back. Hold on, I need to roll some dice in secret. How do I do that?
Oh.
Beta sees her come by and was leaning on a wall, and then now is like leaning on a wall, like kind of adjusts herself to kind of look sexy up against the wall. She doesn't know if that'll help, but she's trying.
Mercus wanders back to the group and explains, like, yeah, so I guess the other company uses indentured servitude. At least that's what the guy at the counter told me.
The Overseer comes in to Oucher, and she approaches Beta directly, and she says,
Participant Beta, I have some good news. You have passed the trial testimonies. Just barely.
Just barely. Thank you.
She looks
that's good
at the
enough.
rest. She looks at the rest of you.
Ode is giving 2 big thumbs up.
Yeah, Mercus.
Was it what I said about the gunch?
A pass is a
Mercus
pass.
claps. Yeah, Mercus claps and says, hush puppy. That's good.
The trial of basis will begin in 15 minutes. If you could please just be at the meeting area then, that would be great.
And then she leaves.
You hear that? I'm going to find out my whole future.
Well, come now, Beta. What did we say? This is supposed to be for fun, not for deciding your whole future. That doesn't usually
And
work
I'm
that
going to
way.
have fun deciding my future.
Okay.
They're gonna what now?
Oh, wait a minute. Venos, you can literally see the future.
I can, yes. It's a complicated process, though, and it doesn't typically work in this sort of way.
I don't know. More things in heaven and earth than dreamt of in your philosophy, Venos.
Too true. You're pretty
Really?
wise. You're pretty wise.
I just made
there,
that
Oak.
up.
Well, it's actually matches my experience perfectly.
Oh, well, look at that. See, maybe it can be done. See, there is hope after all, Combat.
She's not really paying attention to anything anyone's saying. She's kind of like, you could see her like kind of like looking out, kind of like thinking about what she's going to do for whatever the next thing is. And she goes, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get there early in case I can get my eyes on any of the materials or anything. So I'm like ready to go.
Oh, we should go then.
Yes, let's
do it.
Okay, yeah, so you guys leave the shop that you're in, and the meeting spot in front of the deck is just to the right of this shop. So you go out. All of the participants are standing in front of the deck, but none of their kin are standing by. Everybody's like kind of across the road. And the Veraseer gets up on the deck, and she says,
Participants, gather, come close.
And Mercus is doing like bulby thumbs up, like, you can do this.
and if any of you follow close by, like follow Beta, the Veraseer puts her hand up and she says,
Participants only. Thank you for your interest, though.
your support has been noted. She gestures to like the area where that weird gazebo was that she took everybody to do the trial of testimonies. And, in the last however long it's been, like maybe just 30 minutes or so, it seems like they have put out at repeating like consistent distances from one another these walls of shiny bricks, like big, shiny metal, large bricks, and they're built into a wall. And there's maybe like 20 of them or so, 20 of these walls made of these big bricks. And you look around and like, sure enough, there's maybe 20 participants left, or 20 groups of participants. And the Veraseer explains that
The trial of basis will begin shortly. Everybody will be taken to the materials provided. You are to construct the foundation of a single dwelling to your specifications. There are no wrong answers. Myself and the overseer will assess your construction in your absence and let you know if you may go see Zaner. Is that clear?
Yes.
someone raises their hand and they're like, wait, but how are we allowed to? And she says,
There are no wrong answers.
Beta, yeah, you the whole group of you is taken by the Veraseer to, the first group of wall of bricks that's been laid out. And she tells one group to stay there, go to the next group, the next wall, and one group is told to stay there, and so on and so forth. After about the 6th or 7th, she points at you and she says, here you go, do what you please. It's like a 10-foot tall wall that's made of these very large, very shiny metal bricks that are maybe about the size of, I don't know, about yay big. And you have been instructed to build the foundation of a single dwelling, whatever that means. What's everybody else going to do while Beta is doing this?
Venus would like to watch. I mean, I know we can't be close, but can we watch?
You can watch. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, Venus is watching.
Yeah, I think Remy wants to go get a sixer or the equivalent and just sit and watch.
You can go back to the bar, sure.
get some carry out beers, some session stuff. Yeah.
How long is this going to be? Do you know? How long do they?
2 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you can. She maybe would have explained you should be done within 2 hours, but when you're done, you're done. So if you finish before that, that's great.
Okay, yeah. Mercus wants to go to the other shop to just look around, and then he'll come back and watch.
Beta, what are you up to? What are you doing? What's your first move here?
Okay. Her first move is to pick up a brick and see if she can bend it.
It's kind of hard to get one brick. The wall is tall and the bricks are heavy. So just roll combat for me to try to knock a brick off of the wall.
Sure. Oh, I got an 8.
You very expertly knock exactly one brick off of the top right corner of the wall, and you do not disturb any of the rest of the bricks. It makes a very loud thud when it hits the dirt of the plane.
She goes over and she tries to pick it up. Is it very heavy?
It's very heavy. You can pick it up. Roll a d4.
2.
Picking it up takes 2 grit.
Whoa.
Okay. So she takes it, and is there anything nearby? Like, what is in the nearby area that she?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Dirt, some flowers.
She puts it by the flowers.
Okay.
Now she's thinking, in her experience, what is like the smallest sapient that she knows about?
Oh, interesting. Maybe the Fex. You just saw Fex. They're like 1.5 meters tall, so they're like the size of a small child. In a certain mode of thinking, the Morgul are small, since they're floating, skinny, informatic beings.
Okay, that doesn't help. She's trying to make maybe a house for a tiny, teeny, tiny sapient, since these things are heavy. Okay, she's gonna try a different approach, and she's going to what is she gonna do? She is going to
Back to the bar.
Do you have lighter alcohols, but in multiples?
Well, it's funny you should ask, because I can't sell you one of the brown balls again.
Okay, is it a legal thing?
Yeah, it kind of is.
Okay, yeah. I
They, what's the word I'm looking for? They stack exponentially.
Oh, got it. That's fair. Thank you for looking out for me.
What are you looking to feel?
Just some mild intoxication.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. Well, yeah, he opens a flap underneath the counter, and you see a flash of shiny metal as he grabs a scoop and he slides it into a thing that sounds like roasted coffee beans, but looks like big pearls, big pearlescent irregular spheres. Puts it in a sort of thick metal coffee mug shaped thing. Brings out a pestle, grinds it into a paste, squirts this sort of grayish liquid into it, mixes up, gives you one. Well, how about that?
Cut back to Beta.
Beta is going to use find clue to find a clue about how to build something out of these bricks.
Sure. Okay. Shannon, I mean this very earnestly. There are no clues.
Okay.
There are no wrong answers.
There are no wrong answers.
Okay.
Shannon, Odell, what would Beta do?
Got it. So Beta is going to
I'm also not going to charge you for that clue. So you
Okay.
don't.
So Beta hasn't really eaten all day, and because she's been so nervous,
Ooh.
so she's gonna take that brick that she has on the floor and just kind of lick it. See, how does it taste?
It's delicious. It is a very well made metal. It is totally solid.
She takes a bite out of it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, this is high quality stuff.
Oh.
They should be serving this at lunch.
It's really good. She's gonna go over to the pile and she's gonna start eating it.
Okay. All right.
She's-
Beta starts gnawing on the wall of huge metal ingots.
She's getting overwhelmed at the idea that she's not really sure how to pass this test, and she really wants to. So she just is kind of eating and just
Nervously eating.
nervously eating the wall. Does it feel good eating the wall?
I mean, it's really, as far as metal goes, it's very, very tasty. I think insofar as Beta would have preferences and opinions about what metal tastes good and what metal does not, this is Yeah, gourmet stuff.
So as she's been eating at the wall, has any extra like fell down, any bricks or anything like that?
Now they're very heavy. Unless you've tried, like unless you push them, they won't fall down.
Then she like looks around. She can't really see anyone else and what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean you can see some people. They're close enough that you can see some folks
What
have
are they
made like
doing?
an empty square. And some people have just worked really hard to push the wall down so that there's like a big scatter of all the bricks around. Some people are working very thoughtfully to plot out what is effectively a floor plan, with like different rooms in it. There are a couple people that you can see who haven't even figured out how to get one brick off of the wall. Like they're still struggling to get something down because it's so heavy.
She's like, okay, I gotta actually do something. So she's gonna kind of like eat her way like through the bottom of the walls till it's like a little less sturdy, and then she's gonna push it over.
Okay.
And then all the bricks fall down. Yeah?
Yeah, give me a combat. Just roll combat for me.
What?
You spend a couple minutes like trying to gnaw at some exposed edges in the wall of metal ingots to try to make it a little even less sturdy. And then you want to push it over.
I rolled a 7.
Yeah, whatever you want to happen happens.
I want him to just push it over and fall.
Yeah, so there's like a sort of scattered pile of gnawed upon metal bricks on the flowered plain of this town.
And she's like looking around and she's like, okay, well, this one looks different. And then then she's going to take the bricks and she's going to take a bite out of every single one of them.
Okay. You go brick by brick. Back at the bar.
It's called Brother of Pearl.
Well,
I think
cheers.
you're gonna like it.
Remy slides a couple gilder over the counter and walks up.
Thanks. Wait, before you go, let me ask you something. And you and your friends have got every right in the world to go through the quartering, and of course you're welcome in here anytime, my friend. Believe you me. But don't see a lot of folks passing through, and don't see a lot of folks passing through with such a sort of carefree attitude. Do you mind if I ask where you're going?
Yeah, we're meeting. We have some company business in Nolaster.
That's a rough place.
I have no idea. Do you have any exposition to give me?
That's cute. That's cute.
No, but what? No, seriously though, what should we know? Or should we know anything?
Well, kind of a serious ordeal, my friend. You got briefed on the difficulties, right? By the Co.
Somewhat.
Find it hard to believe the Co sent y'all here and didn't tell you what was going on. My God, things have gotten pretty bad on Spin, I guess. Look, you need to be much more careful the way y'all walk around here. Don't flash around money. Don't be drinking too much in public. You understand?
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
All right.
Thanks for the-
Listen, I'm not going to ask you any more questions. I'm just going to give you one piece of advice. I don't know why you're really here. I'm not going to ask you. But if it's got anything to do with the pirates, you're better off turning around and going back to whatever gate got you here. You understand? And that's just friendly advice. I'm not trying to tell you what to do.
Sure, pal. Yeah. Thanks for the advice.
All right.
Beta, you've taken a bite out of every metal brick.
And she kind of looks at it. She goes, not my finest work. And then she goes, I'm done.
Yeah, you can just leave.
And she leaves.
They will take your exiting of the general area of your zone to mean that you are done.
And she goes and meets up with the rest of the group.
As you walk in, you see the bartender that gave. What does this guy look like, Taylor?
The bartender?
Yeah.
He looks exactly like I do.
Okay. you see
No,
Taylor Moore.
Come on, I'm kidding. I think he's like very, very tall with an extremely narrow face. If he's human, he's been modified in some way. But he's like sort of almost like a lurch-like figure.
You see this tall, gray-colored man giving what seems like some like delivering some grave information to Remy, who's just standing there with some drinks in his hands. And Remy nods and turns around and heads towards the group. I assume you're all like sitting at a table nearby.
Yes.
You guys, Beta approaches. You haven't seen her in a couple hours. You know that she's been doing some weird trial.
Ah, here she is, the woman of the evening, of moment, day. Ah, how did it go?
Well, let's just say I am very full.
Okay, that is not what I would have expected you to say.
What does that mean?
I don't know what it
Full?
means.
Why are you full?
Well, I ate the challenge.
What?
I
You
literally
mean you were
As they say on TikTok, she ate that.
I ate it. I don't know. If
You ate all the bricks?
I ate a piece of each of them, and I carry each of them with me inside of me, which
Is that supposed to be profound? Or are you just
I
hungry?
was working at it to be profound, but I didn't quite get what I was doing. But I figured the Veriseer probably could figure it out what I was doing.
I mean, it's definitely confusing. I like it.
Thank you.
The Veriseer has definitely got that art school instructor energy who will find deep meaning in anything if she has to. So you guys, I think you can hang out at the, do you want to give me a montage of like the hour or so that you spend in the bar before, like the Veriseer, you start seeing her walk up to people and either dismiss them or let them know that they've made it to be able to see Zaner, and, they get very happy and she leads them out of the room. Like you see that start to happen. Do you guys just sit there and drink and chat?
Yeah, Mercus is trying to toss, I don't know, some shells of something into a glass.
You play that. They have the what is it? The hook and ring game.
Oh,
that
yeah.
extremely irritating
Yeah.
bar game.
I love that game.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
I think Remy's trying.
Figure this out.
The secret is you got to spin it when you throw it. You got to give it a little.
I have to throw it? And he's just holding it.
After a while, the Veriseer comes in and she has the Overseer like in tow. He follows behind her. She moves much faster. And she approaches the group of you and she says,
Participant combat.
and the Overseer comes and catches up and walks next to her and looks at you and says, in all of our years of performing the quartering, we have never once had someone
So great.
consume the materials.
Which is good.
Frankly, it is brilliant.
See?
If you will join us, we can take you to see the Zaner immediately.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Did you hear that? Did
Yes,
everyone
you're
hear that?
there.
Yeah, congratulations.
You're off to see
Very
the
proud
wizard.
of you.
The wonderful Wizard of Oz.
I never doubted you. I knew the second 45 minutes ago when we discovered this ritual that you were going to be doing great at it. I knew it.
Listen, I might find out that the love of my life is sitting in the town next, and then I will never see you again because I will have to go after them. But hopefully that doesn't happen, and I'll meet you guys back here.
Yes, that's what
yeah.
we're waiting for you.
That's a
Can't
safe
wait to hear
bet.
about
Sure.
it.
Okay, bye-bye.
The Overseer and the Veriseer have started leaving, so you catch up to them outside, and they take you back to the meeting area where the deck is. And on the other side of it, there's like, a couple trees, and on the other side of those trees, you actually find another kind of bramble that looks something like the strange half gazebo that you sat in for the trial of testimonies. Except this, the vines and the flowers are not attached around a structure. They kind of are the structure. There's like this weird tent made out of dried plants and these colorful flowers. And the Veriseer and the Overseer stand on either side of the entrance of this strange hood that's placed very unceremoniously. And they gesture for you to walk in. Do you walk forward? Mm-hmm. So what you see when you get to the edge of this thing is a set of stairs that go down into the ground. You walk down.
She goes down.
You can feel the first couple steps are made of stone, and as you walk down, you feel the presence of the Veriseer and the Overseer walk behind you. You can hear them stepping and sort of rubbing along the sides of the wall. It gets darker and darker and colder and colder. After a few steps, the floor goes from what feels like semi-finished stone to like almost dirt. Like it's not going to crumble, but it feels softer and it's a little bit harder to keep your balance. And as you walk down this wide staircase, you go for like maybe 30 seconds. It's like a bunch of stairs. You're going deep underground. And after a while, both of the seers stop walking, and the Veriseer says,
You may continue down on your lonesome. Just keep going straight. Even if you can't see, you will know when to stop.
and they like do a little bow, and you can see them go back up. There's a distant pinprick of light at the top of the stairs. Do you keep going down?
Beta keeps going down.
Go down and down and down. It gets colder and colder. It gets kind of damp and like a little weirdly humid. And you start to be able to smell more like earth and rock. And it smells almost sort of like a cellar. Like it's very earthy down here, of course. You put your hands on the sides of the wall. You feel like you can feel some roots, and you feel the jagged edges of rocks sticking out from whoever like dug this strange pathway down into the earth, who knows how long ago. You eventually get to flat ground. It's no longer stairs, and it's pitch black. You cannot see anything. You cannot tell if there is wall a foot or an inch away from your face. The only way that you know where to go is to feel around. After a while, you come across, you see like a little bit further ahead of you, the dullest gray light. Very, very dim, like a wall of slightly reflective gray. You get closer, and it actually does approach you. You can kind of see it. How far away do you stop from it?
I stop like 2 feet in front of it.
Okay. You can kind of see yourself a little bit. It's hard. It's hard to see yourself, but like you can kind of see a reflection. It like is a little smoky. It's a little blurry. You stand there for a couple minutes, and then in an instant, it turns perfectly mirrored. There's no sound. There's no feeling of any kind. It just becomes perfectly mirrored. And you're looking at like a strange kind of oval. There's no border to it. It just is this reflective surface, and you're looking at yourself.
Beta thinks to herself, I look pretty good.
What does Beta look like?
Oh, you're making me do this.
I knew it.
Oh, what does Beta look like? Okay, let's start from the top. No, let's start from the bottom and work up. I can figure out that.
Sexy.
Yes, extremely sexy.
This sax riff.
Her, she's a pretty, she has like, a foot. She has 2 feet. Jeez. Okay.
I'm picturing you talking to the police officer, like identifying the suspect. She's pretty, yeah. The dude with 2 feet. and they just pull up a chair and they just, yeah.
Okay, she has 2 thin pipes for legs. They're like pipe-like. They're so tiny. It almost looks like it shouldn't be able to support the top half, but somehow at the same time, she looks really sturdy. She hasn't seen a reflection of herself this good in quite a while. She's seen herself in like reflections of buildings and things like that, but not quite so clearly. It kind of reminds her of a time when she was younger, and she kind of gets a flashback to a younger memory when she had first joined the company, and she was out on a job on a planet that had very still water that was so still and clear that you could really see your reflection really well. She kind of has a flashback of her like young fleeter days. But she realizes that she hasn't really aged that much outside of maybe her eyes.
She has eyes?
Which aren't really eyes. So much as while she has a bag head, you can kind of tell where her eyes are by the energy that's coming out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Those spots on her head. You could tell that's where her eyes are. Even though, again, you can't really see them. It's energy. So she can see a little bit of an age in her eyes. Kind of that energy is kind of like dulled a little bit. She looks down and looks back at her body. She looks pretty good, a little bit bloated. She did eat a lot of Meadowbrooks, a lot of them. And you can tell as she kind of unzips her exosuit just like a tiny bit to like kind of like do a like little stomach check like you do in the mirror. She's like, whoa, I am bloated. Kind of zips it back up. Do we need more description?
I'm not going to stop you. I mean...
She looks at her hands and then looks at her hands reflected back, kind of marvels at them, thinking about how old she is. And yet they still...
What do they look like? Are we talking like duct tape hands?
Yeah. Really like shiny metal silver duct tape hands. But they look good.
Like
That's
tight,
important.
Like they look tight.
tightly wound tape.
And in
It could be a shoot the hand model.
yeah, but even in spots where there's like a little bit of imperfection, she kind of wears the hell out of the imperfection.
Roll your charm.
Hell yeah.
Okay. I got a 5.
While you're looking at yourself and thinking about your hands and how much metal you have just consumed, you start to feel this urge to like touch the mirror, touch your hand to your hand.
So she does that.
As soon as you do it, you feel the cold. It's like touching cold glass. It's hard. It stops your hand. And then after a second, your fingers kind of like seep into it a little bit. Like it just in that section turns slightly liquid. And you feel this. It's hard to describe. It's kind of like electricity. It's like a little bit of a impulse of some kind, like a kind of excitement or something that goes from your fingers up your arm, up your shoulder, and into your brain. And you can feel it going into your brain. And you feel compelled to think a very specific thought, which is, Beta, what is the oldest thing you remember?
Boom goes the dynamite.
And she remembers not so much. It's a short memory. It's not so much that she recognizes the two people as her parents as much as like she knows it's her parents, not because she has no other memory of them and she hasn't really thought about them. And it's them walking down a street.
What does the street look like?
The street is kind of like a dirt road, and on the sides of it are a field.
When you're thinking about this, the energy that's moved up your arm and into your brain gets like kind of even more excited when you arrive at this. And when you mentally think like, oh yeah, I want to think about the oldest thing I know, it's this. And it's that kind of satisfaction in having found something that you were looking for. It's like, I don't have to worry about this anymore. Like I can move on now. And that's what you feel. You feel compelled towards that emotion, however you would describe it. And then the excitement and that energy moves from your head, down your neck and your shoulder, out your arm, and you can feel it kind of retreating. And it goes back into this mirror surface. And the mirror then lets go of your fingers and retreats from them, so that the place where you've touched now, there's just dirt. You're just touching the other side of whatever this surface was, is just dirt wall. And the mirror is retreating from your hand, and it gathers in the middle of this empty space that's directly in front of you. And it floats in like sort of ever-changing, like cuboid kind of thing. It's like, multiple sided geometric figure is moving towards you from this wall, and it kind of stops in front of you. It kind of floats. Totally silent, not making any noise.
She puts her hand underneath it.
When you put your hand underneath it, it turns into a very strange 3D representation of the dirt road next to the field with the two people and a blurry figure that is you. And if you move your hand around, you can rotate it, like you can turn it around. It's kind of like you're holding like what we would describe as a 3D model. And when you move your hand, you can just spin it. And if you move your other hand close to it, you can enlarge it a little bit. You can make it a little bit smaller. Roll reason.
It's a 10 plus 11.
You are able to learn one thing about this memory that you maybe otherwise would never have been able to know. What do you learn?
Like, what's the question I want to ask, or what did I learn?
No, you just, there is a thought that you know is true that pops directly into your brain. What is it?
The thought is that she knows from this memory, she knows that her parents did not like each other.
The 3D scene turns back into the shape, pushes back up against the wall, recreates this mirrored surface. You can see yourself again very clearly. Stays like that for maybe 10 seconds. Turns dark gray again. It's dark. Nothing's happening anymore.
She goes, well, I guess that was it. She starts making her way up.
You walk back up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long journey. It's a lot of stairs. You knew it was a lot going down. It's even more going up.
It's harder
You're tired
going
by the
up
time you get
because
to the
there's
top.
nothing to look forward to.
To shoot the sweat, I don't even know. Like, you know, if you sweat, you sweat.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You get to the top, and the Overseer and the Veriseer are waiting at the top of the stairs, and they have a very sort of like, they have a serious look on their face. The Overseer looks at you and says, we hope you had a meaningful experience. Zaner will visit you 2 times. How? We cannot say. And what you will learn in those visits, we do not know.
Wow.
Congratulations. You have completed the quartering.
Thank you very much. I didn't know I would get the 2 bonus visits.
You can visit your pals. They're probably at the bar.
Yeah, I go to the bar because I figure that's where they live now.
You are now leaving Float City. Thanks for listening, and if you like the show and want to help us keep making it, head on over to patreon.com/Fun City Ventures. $5 a month gets you access to a whole other show we do called Fun Chatty, gets you access to our rad as heck Discord full of very weird, very nice, and smart nerds. It gets you access to music playlists and more. It is a wild deal. You know you wanna. Patreon.com/Fun City Ventures. And of course, thanks to all of our current patrons for help keeping this ship afloat.
Hi, I'm Bijan Steven, and I play Remy Tester on Float City. You can find me online on Twitter at Bijan Steven, BIJAN STEPHEN, on Twitch at the same name, and on Instagram at Bijan Cakes, BIJAN Cakes.
I'm Jen Della Vega. I play Mercus Imeldar. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Randwiches. That's the word sandwiches, but replace the S with an R.
This is Shannon Odell. I play Beta Combat. You can find me on social at Shodell.
Hello, this is Nick Gercio, and I play Lux on Fun City and Vinos on Float City. You can find me at Nicholas Gercio on Twitter and in Gercio on Instagram. You spell Gercio Guercio.
I'm Taylor Moore, and I play all the cool, interesting characters. You can follow me at taylor.biz.
My name is Mike Rignetta. I am your GM, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mike Rignetta. You can find the show on Twitter and Instagram at Fun City Ventures. Float City is played in a soon-to-be-released system called Still Fleet, which you can find on Twitter and Instagram and Patreon at Still Fleet. This episode of Float City was recorded at various locations around Brooklyn, New York. It was produced, edited, and sound designed by me, Mike Rignetta. In futurity, Pixel Riffs, Prophetic Seas. that the earth from sleep grave, the sentence deep, shall arise and seek for her maker meek, and the desert wild become a garden mild. Fun City's music is by Sam Tyndall. Remy's flute playing is by Jake Fridkiss. Our art is by Tess Stone. Our Discord mods are Olivia Goulin, Kit Pulliam, and Kestrel. And the voice of Artemis is Molly Templeton.